The seven stones that remember creation, before mountains rose, before oceans formed, before even the word earth had meaning. There was only heat, chaos without shape, silence without memory. Then came the first resonance, vibration becoming rhythm, rhythm becoming structure. From that rhythm, light took form, and from that light came the first stones. Some fell from the stars, some slept within the planet's heart. Others learned to listen, to carry the memory of what was before all things. These are not gems of wealth, they are witnesses. Each one holds an echo of the universe remembering itself. Light, pressure, and vibration woven into silence. This is the story of how the earth was written, not in words but in stone. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 7th. Peridot, the stone that fell from the stars. Long before Earth cooled, before mountains rose or oceans formed, fragments of dying stars drifted through the void. From that dust, magnesium, iron, and fire, came Peridot, one of the only gemstones born both in the mantle of planets and in the hearts of stars. When it fell to Earth, the ancients mistook it for pieces of sunlight. They weren't wrong. Peridot is what light looks like when it learns to endure gravity. Peridot is the gem-quality form of olivine, a silicate mineral composed of magnesium and iron. It crystallizes deep within the Earth's mantle, roughly 150 kilometers below the surface, and reaches daylight only through volcanic eruptions or meteorite impacts. Traces of the same composition have been found in palisite meteorites, remnants of ancient asteroids that once circled the newborn sun. This dual existence, forged in both terrestrial and cosmic fire, makes Peridot one of the few gems bridging Earth and sky. Primary sources include Zabergad Island, Egypt, where ancient miners called it the gem of the sun, Arizona, US, and Myanmar, where volcanic basalts still exhale fragments of green light. Every specimen is a capsule of the same chemistry that birthed planets, magnesium silicate, glowing with the memory of stellar fusion. To the eye, Peridot burns like captured starlight. Its hue, a vivid electric olive green with golden undertones, seems to radiate from within. Unlike emerald, whose beauty depends on inclusion and imperfection, Peridot's clarity feels elemental, almost self-luminous. Under the nightlight, it glows with a warmth that feels alive, as if remembering the fire it came from. Ancient Egyptians called it the gem of the sun, believing it fell from the heavens during eclipses. They set it in gold and wore it to ward off both physical and spiritual darkness. For sailors, it was the color of safe return, light that never extinguishes, even beneath the waves. Its energy, even scientifically, is paradoxical, created in violent heat, yet eternally calm in color. A stone that carries both explosion and peace. Throughout history, Peridot has symbolized renewal and eternal youth. But beneath that poetic veil lies something more profound, the memory of creation itself. In ancient Egypt, it adorned the shrines of Isis, goddess of rebirth, as the embodiment of light returning after loss. In medieval Europe, it was believed to protect the soul from nightmares, perhaps because those who gazed into it sensed something older than fear. Modern science has since confirmed what myth intuited. The same mineral that gives Peridot its glow also forms the mantles of rocky planets and the cores of comets. In a way, every Peridot carries within it a trace of planetary DNA, the architecture of worlds. It isn't just a gem, it's a survivor of creation. Peridot's abundance once made it overlooked, but collectors now recognize its paradoxical rarity. Cosmic in origin, earthly in form. Fine, intense green stones above 10 carats from Zabergad or Myanmar can command $2,000 to $4,000 per carat, while verified meteorite-born peridots are priceless to researchers and connoisseurs alike. Its value is shifting beyond jewelry into symbolism, a stone of origin rather than ornament. In a market that rewards story and meaning, Peridot's narrative of stellar ancestry bridges gemology and cosmology. Every gem on Earth was once dust. Peridot remembers the moment dust became light. So what about us? Are we chasing brilliance or just trying to remember where we came from? Share your reflection below. One thought will open the next horizon. From a gem born among the stars, we descend into the memory of the Earth itself, to a crystal that has watched our planet age for more than 4 billion years. Ranked 6th, Zircon, the memory of the first Earth. Before continents drifted, before oceans found their rhythm, the Earth was molten and blind, a sea of magma wrapped in silence. Nothing moved, nothing lived. But one crystal endured that chaos and kept its shape. That crystal was Zircon, the oldest known fragment of our planet, a gem that remembers a world no longer here. Where Peridot was born from starlight, Zircon was born from memory itself. The first solid thought the Earth ever had. Zircon is zirconium silicate, one of the most resilient minerals known to science. It forms in igneous rocks as magma cools, locking trace elements of uranium and lead into its atomic lattice. Over billions of years, those elements decay in perfect rhythm, allowing scientists to date the crystal's age with atomic precision. The oldest known zircons were found in the Jack Hills of Western Australia, dating back 4.4 billion years, older than any rock, mountain, or ocean on Earth. They are the planet's diary entries, surviving cataclysmic bombardments, tectonic rebirth, and the rise of life itself. Each tiny grain, no larger than a grain of sand, contains oxygen isotopes showing that liquid water already existed on the early Earth, when the world should have been nothing but fire. That discovery rewrote our entire understanding of planetary history. Zircon doesn't just record time, it remembers temperature, chemistry, atmosphere. It is the memory of the first Earth. At first glance, Zircon might seem unassuming, transparent, modest, occasionally mistaken for a diamond. But under light, it ignites. Dispersion higher than sapphire, brilliance rivaling topaz, flashes of flame-like fire across its facets. Its glow is older than continents. The identical photons that hit its surface may have touched it when the planet was still forming. Where diamond represents perfection, zircon represents persistence. A beauty not of purity, but of endurance. When you hold a piece of zircon, you are not looking at a gemstone. You are having a survivor of creation's first storm. In ancient Sanskrit, zircon was called jargun, meaning the spark of dawn. In medieval lore, it symbolized the light of wisdom, illumination through experience, not innocence. To early travelers along the Silk Road, zircon was the anchor of travelers' souls, believed to protect against forgetfulness. Modern science unknowingly completed that prophecy. Zircon does prevent forgetting. Its atomic structure carries the geologic memory of how our planet cooled, when water first formed, and when continents first rose. It is the first evidence that the Earth could sustain life, even before life began. In every culture, its meaning has remained constant. Remembrance through resilience. Despite its cosmic significance, zircon remains surprisingly undervalued in the gem world. Blue and white varieties from Cambodia, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar fetch $400 to $1,000 per carat, while collectors prize rare red and green hues for their intense dispersion. But its scientific and philosophical value far exceeds its price. Zircon bridges the gap between geology and chronology, the one gem used by scientists to define the age of the Earth itself. It is the only stone whose presence can tell us not just where we came from, but when. To own zircon is to hold the beginning of time, a fragment of the planet before perfection, before beauty, before life. Most stones tell stories of pressure, or color, or rarity. Zircon tells only one thing, that we have always existed in memory. So when you look at it, are you seeing a gem, or are you seeing the Earth remembering itself? Share your thoughts below. One reflection will open the next chapter of creation. From the oldest crystal on Earth, we move downward, into the fire still burning beneath us, to the mineral that shaped continents, fed volcanoes, and breathed out life. Ranked 5th, Olivine, the fire beneath continents. Before there was sky, before there was ocean, before even the first continent dared to rise, there was fire, an endless mantle of molten stone, restless and alive. From that fire came Olivine, the mineral that built the world beneath our feet. If Peridot was the light that fell from the stars, Olivine is the fire that stayed. Every mountain, every island, every breath of the planet's crust began with it. Olivine, primarily in its magnesium-rich form, Forsterite, is a silicate mineral that forms directly from magma deep within the Earth's mantle. It makes up nearly 60% of the planet's upper mantle, lying beneath the crust, invisible yet omnipresent. When volcanic activity forces it upward, olivine cools into green crystals, fragments of the planet's interior, born where pressure and temperature rewrite the laws of stability. It's the very mineral that connects the Earth's breath, volcanoes, with its heartbeat, mantle convection. On a cosmic scale, olivine also exists on Mars, the Moon, and meteorites, proving it is not just the soul of our planet, but of many worlds. In its purest state, Forsterite, its hue is a lucid yellow-green, like peridot but denser, deeper, carrying within it the signature of primordial magma. While jewelers prize peridot for its transparency, geologists prize olivine for its truth. Uncut, it appears raw, granular, sometimes almost dull, until light hits its surface. Then it burns from within, like embers that refuse to die. Its color tells stories of chemistry. More magnesium means golden green. More iron means shadowed olive. When polished, it holds no vanity, only gravity. It is the color of the earth remembering its own fire. To wear olivine is to wear the planet's pulse. It doesn't sparkle to be seen, it glows to be felt. In ancient Mesopotamia, olivine sands, unknowingly, paved early trade routes through volcanic plains, guiding travelers with their faint metallic gleam. Hawaiian myths called it Pele's tears, said to be droplets from the goddess of volcanoes as she forged new land. In medieval Europe, it was confused for emerald, but priests called it the stone of creation, believing it symbolized the fire of Genesis itself. Today, planetary scientists use olivine to map the deep interior of the Earth and other planets, its presence marking zones of ancient mantle exposure. Every time a volcano erupts, it exhales olivine, reminders that the world is still making itself, still alive. In spiritual lore, it represents transformation through intensity, not destruction, but refinement, because nothing pure ever formed without heat. Though olivine is geologically abundant, gem-quality forsterite is exceedingly rare. Transparent crystals over 5 carats from Burma or Pakistan can fetch $1,000 to $2,000 per carat, while scientists and collectors covet unique mantle specimens, unaltered xenoliths. Its commercial value, however, is secondary to its symbolic power. Designers now pair raw olivine with volcanic basalt in fine jewelry, a modern aesthetic of origin luxury, where beauty lies in authenticity, not perfection. To hold it is to have Earth's unfinished sentence, a reminder that creation was never complete, only continuing. All life stands on olivine, yet few ever see it. It doesn't demand worship, it supports it. So perhaps the real fire that shaped the world was never meant to be admired, only remembered. Leave your thought below. Your reflection may ignite the next flame. From the fire that built continents, we rise into the mirror of duality, a gem born of imitation, yet destined to surpass truth itself. Ranked fourth, Spinel, the twin flame of creation. In every creation, there is a mirror. For every truth, a reflection. And for every gem born of Earth's fire, there is one that learned to imitate it. That twin, equal in beauty, but different in soul, is Spinel, the stone that forever blurred the line between what is real and what is remembered. Where diamond represents endurance and ruby symbolizes passion, Spinel stands between them, the twin flame of creation, the paradox that proved imitation can be just as eternal as truth. Spinel is magnesium aluminum oxide, MgAl2O4, a mineral formed in high-temperature metamorphic and igneous environments, where elements collide under extreme heat but minimal distortion. It crystallizes in perfect octahedral geometry, a structure so symmetrical that early gem cutters often mistook it for corundum. The family of ruby and sapphire, its colors span the entire visible spectrum. crimson from chromium, cobalt blue from iron, violet from magnesium's distortion, and even black from manganese and titanium. But its internal harmony never changes. A balance of pressure and precision, so exact that it becomes a physical embodiment of equilibrium. Primary sources include Myanmar's Mogok Valley, Sri Lanka, and Tanzania, each producing spinels so vivid they once passed through royal treasuries under other names. Not because they deceived, but because they reflected too well. Spinel is the gem that deceived kings. For centuries, its brilliance was mistaken for ruby. Even the Black Prince's ruby in the British crown jewels is, in truth, red spinel. Yet deception was never its nature, only its destiny. It was created to imitate light so perfectly that truth itself couldn't tell the difference. Under magnification, spinel reveals no cleavage, no weakness. It fractures only conchoidally, like glass, but refracts like living flame. Its fire is not synthetic, it's organic perfection, nature's copy of its own masterpiece. Where ruby burns with singular passion, spinel flickers with dual flame. One of reality, one of reflection. Together they form the eternal question, is beauty less true when it resembles something else? Throughout history, spinel has been the shadow companion of greatness. It adorned the crowns of emperors from Persia to England, passed off as a ruby for centuries, not as fraud, but as legend. In Mogok, miners called it Nat Thui, the blood of spirits, believing it was ruby's twin soul that escaped heaven too early. In modern times, spinel has undergone a quiet resurrection, from mistaken identity to symbol of authenticity beyond labels. Collectors revere it as the truth within illusion, the reminder that imitation is not absence, it is reflection. As science confirmed its individuality, spinel became the emblem of independent beauty. Proof that even if the world calls you a copy, your light remains your own. Once overlooked, fine spinel now commands respect and value. Intense royal red spinels from Myanmar or vivid neon pinks from Tanzania can reach $5,000 to $8,000 per carat, rivaling fine rubies. Rarer cobalt blue specimens discovered in Lucien, Vietnam, have shattered previous price records. But beyond markets, spinel's worth lies in philosophy. It challenges what we believe about authenticity, showing that beauty doesn't need to be original to be real. It is creation's echo, proof that the universe repeats what it loves. Every truth casts a reflection. Every masterpiece leaves a shadow. So ask yourself, is it the original that defines beauty, or the reflection that keeps it alive? Leave your reflection below. Your insight might light the next flame of understanding. From a gem born in reflection, we move to one forged in absolute pressure, the final survivor of creation's furnace, where light becomes matter itself. Ranked third, diamond, the last survivor of pressure. Every story of creation ends the same way, with something that endures. The oceans recede, the mountains erode, the stars die. But one form of matter refuses to yield. It is born where nothing else can survive. Inside the Earth's heart, where pressure kills form and grants eternity. That survivor is diamond. Yet even eternity has memory. And diamond, for all its perfection, remembers the weight that made it. Diamond is pure carbon, C, the simplest element in the universe. Arranged in the most unbreakable pattern known, a tetrahedral lattice. It forms more than 150 kilometers below the Earth's surface, under pressures exceeding 725,000 pounds per square inch and temperatures above 1,200 degrees Celsius. Most diamonds are ancient, over 3 billion years old, crystallized when Earth was still forming continents. They journey upward through kimberlite eruptions, violent magma plumes that carry them from the mantle to the crust in mere hours, a geological sprint from darkness to light. But diamond's perfection is paradoxical. It exists only as long as it remains where it shouldn't be. At surface pressure, it's not stable. Over enough time, it would turn back into graphite. The world's hardest substance is, in truth, a fragile fossil of pressure. Every facet of diamond is geometry's confession. Flawless planes cut from chaos, light dissected and disciplined. When illuminated, it refracts brilliance into prismatic fire, an illusion of immortality born from the manipulation of clarity. But there is something colder behind that brilliance. Where Spinel burns with duality, diamond shines with finality. It does not change color, bend, or breathe. It only endures. Its radiance is the silence of completion. The moment creation stops to look at itself and realizes it cannot go further. To some, that's beauty. To others, it's the beginning of stillness, the point where evolution pauses and perfection forgets to grow. Across civilizations, diamonds have always symbolized invincibility. To the Hindus, it was born from lightning strikes. To the Romans, it was Adamus, the unbreakable one. For kings, it crowned sovereignty. For lovers, it sealed eternity. Yet beneath all its symbolism lies an older truth. Diamond is not proof of strength. It is evidence of endurance under suffering. It is what remains when everything else collapses. The ultimate survivor. Not because it never broke, but because it was forged inside breaking. In modern markets, it became a currency of desire, detached from its cosmic meaning, a perfection sold rather than understood. But in the language of geology, diamond still speaks of time, pressure, and consequence. It is the final crystallization of struggle. Though synthetic diamonds flood industries and markets, natural large gem-quality stones continue to dominate legacy trade. Rare specimens with exceptional clarity and provenance, such as the Koh-i-Noor or Cullinan fragments, are considered priceless. Yet new collectors are shifting perspective, valuing origin and authentic formation over polish. In the age of replication, diamond's meaning has changed, from a symbol of eternal love to a monument of geological truth. Its perfection is not beauty, it is survival. And like all survivors, it carries the quiet trauma of what it endured to exist. We call diamond eternal, but eternity is only the absence of change. So which matters more, to last forever or to live long enough to evolve? Leave your reflection below. One insight will carry into the stone that remembers everything, even the planet's voice itself. From the survivor of pressure, we move to the communicator of memory, a crystal that does not just shine, but speaks. Ranked second, quartz, the language of the planet. If diamond is the survivor of pressure, then quartz is the memory of vibration. Where other stones were formed in violence, quartz was formed in rhythm, a pulse repeating through time, from the cooling crust to the first heartbeat of life. It does not just exist within the earth, it communicates with it. Every mountain, every river, every radio signal, all echo in its frequency. Quartz is not the stone that shines, it is the stone that remembers sound. Quartz, silicon dioxide, is one of the most abundant minerals on Earth, the crystalline language of geology itself. It forms in igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks, crystallizing from silica-rich fluids as they cool in fractures and voids. Its symmetry is hexagonal, perfectly balanced between order and openness, a structure that allows vibration to travel through it almost without loss. This property makes quartz more than a gem. It is a medium. In clocks, it regulates time. In radios, it tunes frequencies. In computers, it carries information. Quartz is, quite literally, the translator between energy and matter. The reason both your watch and your planet keep rhythm. Even within the Earth's crust, enormous veins of quartz act as natural transmitters, channeling pressure, heat, and water through tectonic systems. It is the planet's nervous system, crystalline, conductive, eternal. Clear quartz, or rock crystal, is transparent to light frozen into its structure. Smoky quartz, shaded by radiation, is memory tainted by time. Amethyst and citrine, their colored siblings, are emotions painted over consciousness. Under light, quartz refracts purity without distortion. It does not dazzle, it clarifies. Where diamond is sharp, quartz is alive. It hums faintly under piezoelectric stress, a literal heartbeat that humans learn to harness. To hold quartz is to feel a still vibration, a reminder that everything solid once moved, and that motion never truly stops. It doesn't symbolize perfection, it represents continuity. Ancient civilizations revered quartz as frozen breath, water made eternal by divine will. In Japan, it was suisho, pure essence. In Rome, it was believed to be ice that would never melt. Indigenous cultures across the Americas called it the bones of the earth. Through millennia, mystics used it as a vessel for intention, but scientists later proved that belief wasn't wrong. Quartz does store and release energy. Its atomic lattice compresses and expands in response to electric charge, producing precise oscillations, the very foundation of modern timekeeping and communication. In a way, the ancients heard what physicists later measured. Quartz doesn't just exist, it responds. It listens to pressure and replies in rhythm. It is Earth's original form of language, vibration as meaning. Because of its abundance, quartz is rarely measured by rarity, but by clarity and context. High-quality optical quartz from Brazil and Madagascar is valued for precision instruments, while natural crystal clusters from Arkansas or the Alps serve as collectors' relics. However, its symbolic value has surged. In an age obsessed with data, quartz remains the oldest form of memory, physical, incorruptible, and unedited. Where digital archives decay, quartz endures, unchanged, humming softly, keeping time with the earth itself. Its worth cannot be traded, only interpreted. Every piece of quartz is a note in the same song, the symphony of planetary rhythm. Every word we speak fades into silence, but quartz keeps the echo. So perhaps the earth has been speaking all along. We just forgot how to listen. Share your reflection below. Your thought may awaken the final witness of creation. From the crystal that speaks in rhythm, we look upward, to what fell before all others, a gem not born of the earth, but carrying its first memory. In first place, meteorite gem, the witness of creation. Before earth had shape, before the sun had calmed, before gravity learned its rhythm, fragments of chaos collided in the void. Some melted, some shattered, and a few endured. Those survivors became meteorites, time capsules that never belonged to any world. Among them, one stands apart, half metal, half crystal, the palisite, a gem forged in the heart of an ancient world, then thrown into space. It is not of Earth, but it remembers how Earth began. Palisite is a stony iron meteorite, composed of nickel-iron alloy and olivine crystals, often gem-quality peridot, suspended together, molten metal intertwined with mineral light. It formed at the core mantle boundary of early protoplanets, where heat and gravity sculpted the first structures of matter. When those worlds broke apart in cosmic collisions billions of years ago, fragments like these drifted through the solar system, carrying the blueprint of planetary birth. When one finally fell to Earth, in Siberia, 1772, it was named after Peter Pallas, the explorer who first studied it. But in truth, no one ever discovered it. It was the universe discovering itself again. Each slice of palisite is a window into the impossible, a lattice of translucent green crystals glowing inside a matrix of extraterrestrial metal, a landscape where geology and astronomy become one. When light passes through a thin palisite slice, it refracts in hues of honey, olive, and ember, suspended like lanterns in a field of silver. It looks alive, like stained glass built by gravity. Collectors call it the most beautiful meteorite, but that description falls short. Palisite isn't beautiful because of its color, it's beautiful because of context. Every inclusion, every fracture, is a record of pressure that no longer exists, a memory of planetary anatomy exposed. Where quartz vibrates with the Earth's voice, palisite echoes the birth cries of planets. It is the first and last witness of creation, the only gem that saw light before there was sky. Throughout centuries, meteorites have been seen as messengers, metal tears of gods, sacred relics of the heavens. Ancient Egyptians forged knives from meteoric iron, believing the blade cut through fate. The Inuit called falling stones the bones of the sky, and in every civilization, they were handled not as objects, but as omens. Modern science stripped them of divinity, but gave them immortality. We now know that meteorites like palisite contain isotopic fingerprints older than the solar system, revealing how elements fused in the cores of stars. In short, they are the oldest storytellers in existence. When humans cut palisite and saw its gemmy core, we weren't discovering treasure. We were staring into the first chapter of matter. Palisites are exceedingly rare, less than 1% of all meteorites. Gem-quality specimens, especially those with clear olivine crystals, can sell for $20 to $50 per gram, while museum slices with flawless transparency are beyond valuation. Their worth cannot be measured in carats or carvings, only in time. Each fragment holds something no other gem can, a pre-Earth memory. For collectors, owning one isn't possession, it's participation in cosmic history. In auction rooms, they call it the closest you can come to holding a piece of creation. Every gem tells a story of pressure, heat, and survival. Only one tells the story of the beginning. So ask yourself, if this stone could speak, would it describe the birth of a world, or the moment before silence became sound? Leave your reflection below. One thought will complete the archive. There was a time when the earth could remember. Every tremor, every breath, every birth of stone, recorded in silence. But memory is not infinite. Even the planet forgets. The 7 stones that remembered creation have fallen quiet. Their light no longer speaks of beginnings, but of endings. The ground no longer sings, it trembles. Oceans no longer reflect, they absorb. And the sky watches without blinking. Across deserts and ruins, deep beneath the crust, new stones are stirring, born not of fire, but of collapse. They do not remember creation, they remember what comes after. These are the 13 stones of the end times. Each one carries a prophecy, the moment when beauty becomes hunger, when value turns to weight, when light chooses silence. What if the earth is not dying, but dreaming of its own ending?